Thanks, Denny. G'day. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another list review from me, Sam. Hi. Denny down the end there.
Ahoy, ahoy.
And George, who has gone blonde and sort of trimmed down a little bit. Say hi, George.
Hi, guys. Yeah, hi, George.
Nice. Well done. Connor is joining us today as George is otherwise engaged in a cyclone, I believe. So thoughts and prayers to him and the rest of our Auckland chums. We are here today to discuss fog on the Remutakas and review some lists. This is the tournament coming up this very weekend, the 18th and 19th of February, out in the beautiful Upper Hutt. It's for charity as well. So everyone's coming along. There's about 16 people, I believe, on the way there. Going to be playing 5 games over 2 days, 650 points, with the theme being fog of war, everyone's favorite, my favorite as the TO scenario. So the way it's going to work is there's 5 games over the 2 days, standard round robin, well, not standard round robin, standard sort of tournament format. The first game of the tournament is going to be fog, last game is going to be fog, and the 3 games in the middle are going to be a roll-off of a few key scenarios: command the battlefield, hold ground, destroy supplies, to the death, and reconnoiter. So I'll roll to see which ones of those turn up. I don't think there's a whole lot more to say about the thing. 650 points, in case I haven't mentioned that. We've got actually there are 16 people coming along, including me as TO, to even out the numbers. And it's, I would say, probably the densest tournament I've seen in a long time in terms of the quality of players. There are a lot of very, very, very good players coming to this tournament. Is that fair to say? As both of you are coming.
Going for dense in the other meaning. Yeah. There's a lot of smart players there. Yeah.
I mean, so anyone who's going to spend this much time and money on plastic toys probably is a little bit dense. But in terms of the quality of people's play, it's going to be, you're going to come along and you're going to play against some of the best in the country. So that's quite exciting as well. Anyway, without any further ado, I know I've spoken a lot, so I'll try and keep quiet for a little bit. We're going to move into the list review phase of this little episode. So come along and join us. First up is this beautiful list here. And I'm going to get Denny to read this out, please, because I'm sick of hearing my voice.
Wow, this is an interesting list. To our 2 listeners out there on, what is it, Spot the Fly, or whatever that is. This is a lot.
We're on Amazon now.
Fellowship Green Alliance list. So we've got one warband of Galadriel with 5 wood elves with spear and T-dagger, 4 wood elves with spear and elf bow, 4 wood elves with just T-dagger, and a wood elf sentinel. And we've got Haldir. He's got the bow and elven cloak, no armor, which I like. 5 wood elves with spear and T-dagger, 4 wood elves with spear and elf bow, 4 wood elves just with T-dagger, and 1 wood elf with a banner. And in spice little tech here, we've got Legolas with armor and a horse. So it's at 31 models, 9 might, 11 bows, some magic, some cav, and so I think Legolas is what, D5? The horse is D4, and then everything else is D3.
Haldir is D4, thank you very much. This is my list, as you might be able to tell from my name.
Defensiveness.
Yeah, I've decided to pull the old no armor out again after it's got a fantastic 1, 1, and 10 win record. The 10 being the losses.
I mean, the cost of living at the moment, you can't really afford to put armor on an entire army, can you?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. It would actually be the same price. At 11 points with a spear and throwing dagger, or 11 points with a shield, spear, Galadrim. And I personally know where I'd put my 2 extra points there. But hey.
Yeah, and the throwing daggers every time.
Free country. All I can say is that blinding light is going to be doing a lot of work. Because otherwise these poor fellas are going to get chewed apart. And I'm looking forward to that, because I hope that eventually, if these fellas get killed enough, you will learn that you need armor.
I put armor on Legolas, okay? I've made a compromise. That's my power gamer move.
That is true. It's a power gamer move.
I mean, you dropped Gimli, which is just silly.
Gimli's on the back of the horse.
Okay,
he's here.
He's cosmetically there. He's here in spirit.
Yes, he is.
He's joining in.
And until Jay gives me rules to have him on the actual horse.
Yeah, we need to see that. That'd be really cool.
I know.
If we can do Durnhelm, why can't we do legitimately.
But in all seriousness, it's having Haldir and Legolas as your fog target is pretty cool, pretty spicy.
Legolas doesn't come with a cloak base, or does he? He doesn't, does he?
No, you
He
got to
does
pay.
not, but he's on the horse.
That's true.
So
But you're having the targets be sneaky like that, I guess, is a useful thing.
yeah. So I'm basically hoping just to pick off VPs and banners, leader wounds, fog targets, and the like with Legolas and Haldir, and then get broken and lose or draw at best.
I guess
But
there's
it should
still
be- it
13
should
elf
be fun.
bows
It should
and
be a lot of
another,
fun.
13 elf bows and another, 18 throwing daggers as well?
Yes.
13 shots anyway, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, it's
Yep.
reasonably serious.
5
but
shots with might behind them as well, which is
Yeah.
quite nice.
yeah, the shooting threat is definitely real.
And Legolas has got his horse, so he's got a bit of maneuverability because there's
Mm.
no march in the list otherwise.
And Galadriel's always
so
a
he
great
can
drop too.
Go run around.
Yeah.
Oh, she's 100% necessary if you're going to not take any armor.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you come up against anything with shooting, you're in a little bit
See
of
you
trouble
later.
otherwise. You can't bank on there being
Yep.
walls to hide behind with the elven cloaks.
If there was a army of chariots, I can't wait to see Galadriel and the Sentinel just take control of 2 chariots and have them do stupid things. If there was an army with chariots in it.
That would
If
be
there
wild.
wasn't an army with chariots, you better hope Galadriel and Centaur take control of them too. Because
Well, the funny thing
one
is,
bad turn.
being defense 3, you're kind of wasting a bit of that strength 4 hit efficiency, aren't you? Because you're wounding on 4s anyway. That's the way I see it. It's basically the same efficiency gain that you get from being defense 7 and 6, like that difference.
There you go. You heard it here. Tune in
Really
more top advice next tournament.
really compelling stuff. I'm
I've
looking
done
forward
the
to this
math.
list being 1, 1, and 15 in a week's time.
Yes.
Let's
Me
move
too.
on from this. This was here as a joke anyway.
Sorry.
Let's move on to the serious lists. We have here Lurtz's scouts. Connor, can you please tell us what's in Lurtz's scouts today?
Well, you've got the titular Lurtz with
Nice.
shield. He's got 8 marauders with shield, 5 marauders with bow, 1 marauder just chilling, and 1 marauder with banner and the bow, which I actually really like to see that. Then we got Mahur with 8 marauders with shield, 3 with bow, and 1 with another banner and bow. And Ugluk with 8 with shield, 3 with bow, and 1 extra marauder, and then the drummer for 43 models, 9 might, 14 nasty little bows, and all movement 8, which is scary.
That's quick. That is
Or
quick as a
more
quick
with
thing.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, with the drummer, and I
Mm.
think at least one of them has March. Lutz has got March, I
It's
think.
got
So
March, yeah.
blitzing along and still firing those bows, which is scary when you're all defense 3.
I really love what do you call it? The confidence to take the Orokai drummer in a tournament with 2 games of fog of war.
That's a really good point, actually.
It is a nice little
That's a really good point. It's a really good call.
hero that you might want to target.
Yeah. It's a perfect fog target. It's a really good call.
Like Mahur, pretty strong, and I think you got a safe bet that you're going to keep those 2 alive by the end of it.
Yeah.
Little drummer boy, that's going to be clutch. What's that? 0 might, 0 will, and a point of fate.
Point of fate, yeah. He will, in fairness, be constantly surrounded by about 20 Orokai, and
Yes.
therefore
There's a lot of
in the ways if you're going to shoot him. But I take your point. It's a really good call. I think this is the perfect points level, really, for this Legion as well. Like, look at it. Every warband is full. Almost everyone's got equipment. It's the 3 heroes you want and a drummer. I mean, I think you literally 650 is peak Lurtz scouts. Anything bigger, it starts getting a bit iffy on the heroes and the space and warbands. Anything smaller,
dropping captains and stuff.
Troops. Yep.
Yeah. Lurtz's special is once per game he gets to throw his shield or something, and it automatically knocks prone or transfixes or something in infantry.
Knocks prone a man-sized model, and I think it does a wound to them as well, but he has to hit. But it counts as a throwing weapon.
That's cool.
It is cool. It's a cool little thing. Never seen it happen, but it sounds cool.
I like the bows on the banners.
Yeah.
That's
That's
interesting,
not
eh?
normally a thing you see,
You
but
never
I
see
mean,
that.
why wouldn't you? Because that way they can still contribute to your game plan quite effectively,
Mhm.
and you're not relying on them to, I don't know, shield spear support at -1 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you
Especially when
can't.
you don't have the option for
I think with no
shields, which is
spears,
normally what you put on. Yeah.
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think, yeah, I wouldn't do it with the option if a spear exists, but I think when there's no option for a spear, I think it's absolutely why not drop it on there,
Yeah.
especially when there's
And
two banners.
what's cool about this list is versing it, lots of models are going to be taken off the table from both sides. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
43 looks
Yeah.
shooting their hearts content against you. Yeah, it's just going to be an absolute 2-hour slog fest of
Yeah. It's gonna be a
It'll be
fight.
very dynamic as well because again, there's no spears, so the Urukai player is going to be trying to wrap around and
And to be
maneuver
able
and
to
get all those
easily with
angles
that
on you.
8+ inches.
yeah.
Which makes it a really challenging game to play against them. And it's not just smash one shield wall into another shield wall.
Mm.
It's a very cool legion, and this is the peak place for it to play. And I think this is pretty much how you would build it if you're building it.
Yep.
Can't really unimpeachable. Can't really complain about it, can you?
We tried.
Gonna be cool fun. I'm pleased. This is the only alerts and scouts we're going to see at this tournament. I'm very pleased about that because I've had very unpleasant experience with it in the past at 650, and I'm not interested to repeat that. Right. Next up, we have Moria. I will do this one because everyone's missing my voice by now, no doubt. This is an interesting Moria that's led by Durburs. There's no Balrog to be seen here, folks. Led by Durburs with 4 goblins with shield, 4 with spear, a cave troll with a hammer, and a Wag Marauder. Then we've got a goblin captain with a shield, 3 shield goblins, 3 spear goblins, 2 bow goblins, a Wag Marauder, and a goblin drum, interestingly. And we've got a goblin captain with a shield with 5 shield goblins, 5 spear goblins. We've got a goblin shaman with 3 shield goblins and 3 spear goblins, and a black shield shaman with 3 shield goblins and 3 spear goblins. And I've said the word goblins a number of times now. 47 models, 9 might, 6 bows, 2 cav, that's marauders, and 1 cave troll monster.
Yeah.
I love this list. This is so cool for a tournament. We're going to see 2 rounds of fog. Which captain is going to be protected?
Yeah.
Which captain is going to be protected? Which one are you targeting? It's just mind games. Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
And again, just like the alerts of scouts in the previous slide, you know, when you're versing this, it's just going to be fun because both you are going to be taking off models very, very quickly.
I'm very pleased to see a
Absolutely.
black shield shaman in there. I think that's a really cool model. You don't see much of it all.
So is that the Shatter Shaman?
It's the
or
Shadow
is that-
Shaman,
It is.
yeah,
that's cool.
which is so much fun to see. That's going to be some big spicy plays on that.
Yeah, you've just how often do you see just 1 dice shatter on Boromir's banner?
Boromir's
Goes off,
banner,
Boromir can't
Angela or something. Yeah,
pretty well.
Yeah.
And then
poisonous.
suddenly, huge point investment's just gone. So that's cool.
It's very, very cool. It's a very nifty piece of kit.
A
Good to
bunch
see
of the
it.
tools as well. It's got the cave troll with the hammer for taking out on heroes and stuff, or smashing through troops. Got the 2 marauders, which are
That's
great
very
in
cool to
fog of
see.
war and things.
You don't see many of those
And
either.
also there's a reconnoiter in there, which
Yeah.
do the old cheeky dismount and run 6 models off the board.
And
And your drum, of course, as well, which is
Yeah.
it's just got all those cool bits and pieces of kit. And I think I'm pleased that it's not a when I see Moria, most of the time you see Moria, I think it's a Balrog, particularly Legion,
Especially at this point level,
or a Watcher in the Water, dare I say. I think it's quite cool to see just someone's found some goblins and putting them on the
just
table.
goblins.
Whack goblins.
47.
Which is a tidy wee number.
Plus the ones on the top of the the marauders
true
as
that.
well.
47 models plus 4 more. Yeah, very true.
I just love it because you
And
can
to be
feel
fair, I don't
confident.
think I've counted the drum as 3 either, which I should have done. Sorry.
Exactly. No, I just like the idea of just because when you take Moria without the Balrog, you have Durburs and you kind of feel scared about chucking them into combat because you're going to lose VPs. But with double fog, I'll just be so thrilled being able to throw Durburs into a bunch of combats and seeing what he can
Why
do.
not?
He's
Probably not
Strike and
much.
fight 4. Let's go.
I think he's got defense as well, so you
He
can
does.
kind of feel confident tying a big opponent hero for a couple returns, maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or two
Okay.
wounds of him or something.
Get lucky with that shaman.
Glorious.
Yeah.
Yeah. God.
No, cool. Very
Cool
cool
fun.
list.
Cool fun. Good to see it. The differences. I would give it big points for being different. Rightio. Here we go. Denny, what's this?
Oh, this is everyone's favorite Legendary Legion, Return of the King. So we've got Aragon with an Elven cloak and some kind of pointy sword. 2 Warriors of the Dead with shield. 1 Warrior of the Dead with spear. Then Warband 2, you got Leggy with armor and Elven cloak. 2 Warriors of the Dead with shield. 1 with spear. Then you've got Gimli. And hey, that Warband composition was so nice the first 2 times. Let's do it the third time. So 2 Warriors of the Dead with shield and then 1 with spear. Then you got King of the Dead with, you're not going to believe this. It's the same exact warband. 2 Warriors of the Dead with shield and 1 with spear. So we've got 16 balls, 10 asterisk might, and 1 very, very good bow.
Very good.
For a nice, tidy list with a lot of heroes that you can protect for fog.
And Legolas for taking out your fog target.
Exactly. Boom, done. Go home, sorted.
Yep.
I think it's
As an
interesting.
Aragorn you don't care about. Just fling him in there.
Which is nice to be able to do because pretty good when he's flung. I do think the addition of the Gimli is an interesting one. I think it is, like you say, it's cool to have I guess you've already got a defensive King of the Dead as your defensive hero anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, normally when you see Return of the King, you've got Aragorn, Legolas, King, and then that Gimli is just 6 odd, 7 odd more warriors, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him in there. He's also a good model when he's flung.
Yeah, got Leggy and Gimli there keeping track of those, get nice cool little buffs every so often for one of them. And they're always relevant. Yeah. And the King of the Dead for, 1 hit killing those big old mimics that I'm sure we'll see on the next couple of slides, Sam. Yeah.
If the King of the Dead uses his rule on the Dragon Emperor's palanquin, does it kill the entire palanquin?
It's a great question for a TO to answer, isn't it, Sam?
God.
Sorry.
Importance Cloudy, ask again later. The Magic 8 Ball says today.
We'll find out on the day, I'm sure.
We'll find out on the day. I will flip a coin in my head. Just see how I'm feeling. See who asks me the most politely.
Okay. Done an entire tournament as a TO just saying roll for it whenever there's a question.
Absolutely.
But no, really cool. There's a lot of targets there for fog, which is great. Interesting there's no cav, and interesting that they've got a couple of D7 troops there. I'm a pretty big fan of having some cav in this list. And then where you can have a shield on something, always putting a shield on something, just because D8 is just amazing.
Yeah. That feels like the Gimli, isn't it? It's almost like if you haven't got him, that's where you've got a couple of extra riders, a couple of extra troops, everything's got a shield. It's almost like that. That seems to me to be the point of difference there.
Yep.
Set a bit of that.
I like the Elven Cloak on Legolas though. That's neat for being able to run behind those balls and bits and pieces.
If you
and
can't
just
put him
be
on a
even
horse.
more of a pest.
Yeah, absolutely might as well. Very true.
Yeah.
And Aragorn
Beautiful
too.
warband composition there.
Aragorn too, for that same reason. It is. It's nice. I like a symmetrical warband. I know not everyone does, but I think it's great. I think it's great stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oopsie. Slow fingers again. Very embarrassing. So next up we have here is Angmar. I think it's a really, really cool Angmar list. A fast zip zap Angmar list. Anyway, it's the Witch King, 3, 12, and 2 with the crown and a horse, leading 4 warg riders with shields. Then there is the Tainted on a horse, leading 5 warg riders with shields.
Almost the same identical warband.
Exactly, except no, they're both 5. I just misspoke the first time. Then there is Gullivar, leading 5 wild wargs and 2 warg riders with shield. 20 models, 8 might, 14 cav, plus the rest of it's fast too, 2 casters, and a mighty monster in the form of Gullivar. How cool is that?
The joke was that you missed the G on the first warband for warg.
You're right, I did actually. I'm gonna take this down, this video, cancel the whole thing. It's really embarrassing.
Let's spot the fly, listener.
Thanks for explaining it to the audio only listeners.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal list this is, though. What a really, really cool list. This is not your grandmother's Angmar list, you know? This is not the Angmar list of yore, with 40 orcs standing in a line, all terrifying. This is cool, man.
Very cool. I think we've seen the wall-mounted Angmar list do really well in an Australian tournament recently.
Okay.
So real cool to see it come over to New Zealand and to see what it can do there. I do not want to verse this in Reconnoiter. I can think of absolutely nothing worse than having to come up against this.
Terrifying.
You can just move off the board by turn 2.
I think spoilers for the rest of these lists. I don't think anything is going to beat this in Reconnoiter, as far as I can see. This is just feral.
I love the Tainted and Gulliver as your 2 fog targets. I mean,
good luck.
Yeah, I don't want to go after either of those.
No way.
And we all know what Gulliver does, but the Tainted, really, really cool model, very high skill model, and I've seen it just do absolute havoc when played correctly, just breaking your opponent and then shutting off all of the standfasts and whatnot, and just watching entire courage 3 men armies go down to courage 2, and then having to take individual courage tests and just running off the board. So really cool pick. Hope it goes well for the player. Yeah, nice and tidy.
So the Taint is the one that stops the people calling with me with their heroic moves as well.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's the heroic moves, the standfasts.
Yeah, so that synergizes really well with wanting to be constantly getting cavalry charges off.
Yeah,
because
very true. Actually,
the one thing that might flip you if you win priority is someone heroic moving against you, and it's like, okay, your hero can touch 1, maybe 2 models, and then the rest of mine are all just going to go anyway.
And I assume as well that between the Wraiths and the Spirit and the Warg Riders, it's basically all terrifying as well, isn't it? So
yeah, it would be.
I think even the Warg Riders count as terrifying.
They must do, yeah.
Yeah, they do. They've got the orc keyboard.
Yeah. Even with the Wargs, which is pretty nasty as well. So I've still got all that traditional Angmar ability there, but they'll hit a lot harder when they hit you.
And double casters just to put a lot of pressure on pretty much any hero hanging around for Gulliver to go then devour.
One successful cast and Gulliver is chopping you up. You have no problem taking down your heroes in a game of Fog, that's for sure.
Cool. And then Seeping Decay on the Tainted, what I forgot.
That's right.
So even if you've got a D9 hero go into the Tainted, at the end of that battle phase, you roll a dice, and on a 6, takes a wound.
Disgraceful, eh?
Have 2 as well, just everything that was engaged in the combat. So,
thanks.
Very cool.
Very cool. Alrighty, folks. What other delights are in store for us? A mortal list, just a plain old simple mortal list.
Ooh, delightful.
That's cool.
Connor, this is a buddy of yours. Walk us through it.
Yes. So this is the Witch King 3/13/3, splashing out for the extra point there, with the crown and a fell beast. And then we got 4 black Numenorians, 4 Morannons with shield and spear, and 4 orc trackers. Then we got Kamul with a fell beast, 3 Numenorians of the black variety, 3 Morannons with shield spear, and 3 orc trackers. And then last warband is led by Gorbag, of all people, with a shield, and he's got 3 black Numenorians, 3 Morannon orcs with shield and spear, and 3 orc trackers for 33 models, a lot of 3s, 8 might, 10 bows, 2 cav / monsters / magic.
Wow.
And a cheeky little orc.
How great's that? How cool is that, eh? 2 fell beast.
This looks like so much fun to play.
So much fun to play.
I'm mad at myself for not thinking of this.
So much fun to play. I will say, easy to pick your fog target. It does make it quite straightforward to pick who you're going to go for.
I think there's an argument for not picking Gorbag there.
There's no Kamul's in the pick of it.
Yeah, Kamul's going to be getting in the mix. And
true.
Gorbag's probably just going to be hiding at the back of the board, pretending everyone else isn't there and rocking in a corner or something.
Gorbag shenanigans.
Yeah.
The 3-13-3, if George was here, would have a good discussion about that, but he's not, so that's okay. And I think that's about right with the crown at 650.
Yeah, you've got Camille there to be doing the heavy lifting of chomping through troops
Constant
and the like.
combats. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's less pressure on the Witch King on Felbeast to have like a 15 or even a 16 on that.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. So you're going to have your terrifying front line with your strength 4 back line and just enough foes to make the opponent come to you.
It's a textbook Mordor kind of arrangement, really, isn't it? With
Yeah,
the 2 Felbeast is the little fill up a difference there. It's just great. Those are going to be
goes
horrifying.
heavier on the bows than you kind of average. It's not the kind of 3
That's
or
true.
4 honesty trackers as well.
It does need them, though, I guess.
I'm missing something. Because that's going to be interesting with 2 scenarios that I think that have banner VPs. But
Right, there's no banner there.
Yeah, there's no banner in this one. Yeah.
Is that sound correct to you, Colin?
Yeah,
Maybe
so
it's
no
just
banner, but
accurate.
with the 2 scenarios you know that are coming up are both fog, and that doesn't have banner points. And then with the 3 in the middle, it's kind of randomized as to which you might end up. So it might only end up being 1 or 2. And if any list is going to be able to take out someone's banner, it's double Felbeasts.
That's true. That's very true.
I mean, maybe it's just my experience with Carmel, but I just find that he always fluffs his combats. And I really appreciate a banner around. It usually doesn't matter. The 3rd dice doesn't do anything to bump it up to a 6, but yeah.
I guess a benefit of not having a banner is that your opponent doesn't necessarily know you're a bit more flexible. You're not built around a certain point. Your line can kind of adjust to wherever it needs to go, not have to worry about shuffling a banner around. And your 2 Felbeasts are just going to be running rampant through the backfield, scaring any cavalry. So coming up against this with a whole bunch of those wargs.
Yeah, true that.
Any
actually.
cavalry force just hates the thought of flying monsters. This has got 2 with compels, so they can compel something for the hurl at the perfect angle. It's just
I want to see this versus the Angmar list. I just don't think either army will be engaging with the other one for the entire 2 hours, except for the heroes.
not a fury in sight.
So much fun. It looks like a great. I mean, I don't play against it, but I'd love to play it. It just seems like such a cool time. And that's what we're here for. We're here for fun, aren't we? We love the game. Anyway, next up. Oh, speaking of fun, here we go. Right. This is Easterlings allied with Canned. So we have the Dragon Emperor, just casually, leading 6 Easterlings with shields and pikes, 6 Black Dragons with shields and pikes, 5 Easterlings with shields for a front line, presumably, and 1 Cataphract with a drum. Then we have a Candish King on a chariot with 3 Candish horsemen and a Candish Chieftain on a chariot with 3 Candish horsemen. It's 27 models, a mere 9 cavalry, and 8 bows. How cool. Chariots and a pike block.
Yeah, it's almost like the previous list. Kind of have your anchor with 2 things around the flanks, probably, that are just going to be coming through and making
chaos.
Yeah,
absolutely right. It's so cool to see chariots. Every time I see them, I'm horrified by what they can do. Horrified. And yeah, with that pike block anchoring them in the middle, they're going to have a lot of stuff to do, run in circles around, back and forth.
Well, just love how ballsy this player was, that he was like, in a tournament that has double fog, I'm going to run the Dragon Emperor. And then 2 D5 heroes, is that? Yeah, that's cool. That's interesting.
Yes.
Chariot
does a lot of that
work.
Run
though. Over the fog targets. And that's great.
Yeah. The chariot does make you pretty tough to get to.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, the underways in combat really make it difficult. And a nice 5 pike block just chilling in the middle.
Just nothing major. Yeah.
What's not to love?
It's not moving, D6 5/5. Yeah. I think from memory, this player has got a bit of experience with the old Dragon Emperor. So
And the chariots too.
chariots, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
Very interesting.
Yeah, no.
It's nice to see the Emperor outside of his Legion as well,
Yes,
because that
true
kind of
that.
that list kind of writes itself almost, and
Mhm.
not necessarily negates the rest of the Easterling list, but it certainly makes it a much more conscious decision to go, am I not taking the Legion? So it's really cool to see someone going, okay, I'm not going to take the
Mhm.
Legion, I'm going to take allies, and let's see what we can do with this model and still get some bang for our buck, which is nice.
Yeah.
I
I don't
think
know if it was
I go
I don't know if it's intended, but it's good to see that his hammer, which is a bit more squishier than his anvil, if you kill the hammer, you still don't break it, which is good. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but well done doing that, because you can see a list like this where you can't have 50% in the Dragon Emperor's list, and then the other 50% is squishy D4 targets, but he decided to.
You just ignore the Dragon Emperor.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a
And you
much
got the
more
drum to keep up as well. It's
Yeah.
nice.
it's a much more fun way, I think, of playing the Dragon Emperor than, to my mind at least, playing with the big, pike wall block, immense line with the all infantry heroes. It's not the way I'd prefer to play, but
Dynamic. It's nice.
this is
Yeah.
way more dynamic. This has got way more going on.
I've got no idea how a drum works. Does it affect the chariots to make them 15-inch move?
No.
That's Eastman key.
Only if it's Eastlings. Yep.
Well,
Thank
that's
God.
great.
Yeah, that is good.
And
Very
do the
good.
kings have march or that is strike?
I'm not sure the chieftain will have though, won't he?
Chieftain definitely does.
Yeah.
I think the king will be strike and resolve, maybe, or strike and strength.
Resolve, that's what you want.
Yeah, mighty hero resolve. I mean, it's just going to be feral to come up against, and it's going to be so much more fun to play than a regular Dragon Emperor list.
Chieftain, both have march. Chieftain only has march.
So he's strike and march, is he?
No, Chieftain's just march.
No, I mean, sorry, the king though.
Yeah, and resolve. I don't know.
And resolve, see?
Thank goodness. Whew. That's cool. I mean, they can come racing at you. We have fun, don't we? Right. Best of luck to this player in this list.
Scary.
Fun, scary, and I'm stoked to see chariots. Anytime I see chariots, I'm stoked to see them, especially because I am the TO and don't have to play at top tables against this kind of nasty stuff. So, next list is Minas Tirith. Somebody tell us what's on it.
All right. So you got Gandhi the White with no shadow effects, just chilling on foot. Just chilling on foot.
Okay.
Just chilling.
5 warriors of Minas Tirith with shield, 5 with shield and spear, and then 1 with the banner. Then warband 2, you got sorry, I can't. This is Boromir? No, Faramir. With horse, heavy armor, and shield. With 4 comets, or knights of Minas Tirith with shield, 2 rangers, and then 2 rangers with spear. In the last warband, you got everyone's favorite, Madril, just chilling with 2 with shield, 2 with shield and spear, 2 rangers, and then 2 rangers with spear, for a nice model count of 30, 9 might, 5 cav, and 9 ranger bows. And of course, the magician. That is
pretty solid caster. Yeah.
That is a lot of banishments against a couple of lists where we've seen a lot of spirits.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, it's nasty against those wraiths. It's gonna be great fun.
But no, I like it. You got your D7 front line with your rangers in the back to make it fight 4. You've got Gandalf doing Gandalf things. You got Faramir and Madril as your foil targets, which is actually pretty nice and tidy as far as playing away with Madril. And I think Faramir is more than comfortable just chilling by himself and tanking a few things with his defense and striking when he needs
Lots of bows. Lots of bows, canonically.
Yeah.
It's good shooting. It's nice
you
shooting.
didn't do that very well.
Come to you. It's nice. It's tidy.
Yeah, it's got the fight 4 with the rangers across the place as well, which is great. And 30 models is pretty decent model count considering you got Gandalf the White sitting there soaking up almost half your points.
Yeah,
in one little package.
Taking about a third.
Yeah.
And that means you got the blinding light there as well, which will be excellent for forcing those engagements. And
He can do a lot. He can create a lot of chaos,
there.
a lot of sorceress blast, a lot of knocking down. And the knights, the knights are they're underrated too. Those lances are very good at. I mean, it talks about bang for your buck on a little lance cav. You can't beat a knight from Minas Tirith.
Yeah. No, cool.
Faramir as your fellow on a horse with heavy armor and a shield to chop things up. That's one I haven't seen in quite a while. It's Faramir as your man with blade on horse. That's pretty spicy. We're keen to see how he does.
I actually ran that at a fun little slow build in Auckland a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
Andy the Light and Faramir on horse, and he actually gets through a lot more than you expect. I managed to tie up a Balrog for like 3 turns just because of the heroic defense. I had to be on the list, and Denzel still avoided Faramir like the plague, and it was really awkward to watch.
Of course.
But, apparently, I think he managed to score a wound on a Balrog at some point. Denethor still didn't care.
Of course not.
Yeah, I like the use of Madrill for you got a potential 2 Maelstrom.
Yeah, you can't say that a Madrill.
Yeah, which is cool.
Not a bad hero on his own right.
3. Yeah.
I think it's just a really nice, tidy list, and it looks like fun to play.
Yeah.
And fun to play against as well.
Tidy. Faramir, a man of quality. What more can you want?
Faramir.
Hey, whoa. None of that. None of that. None of that. 4. Right, next up we have the Black Gate opening. So, as you will know, this is led by a Mordor Troll Chieftain, but a special one with magical powers. Not magical powers, just extra stats. He's going to be leading 3 orcs with shield, 3 orcs with spear, 3 orcs with bows and spears, and 2 orcs with shield and spear. Then there is Mouth of Sauron and a horse. He's leading 6 orcs with bows and spears, 4 orcs with shield, 1 orcs with shield and banner, and 1 Mordor troll. There's 2 trolls now.
Ooh.
And then finally, a Morannon captain with a 2-handed weapon, leading 6 Morannons with shield and 6 Morannons with shield and spear. For a total of 38 models, including 9 bows, a cavalry, 2 monsters, and a little caster named the Mouth of Sauron.
Cheeky.
Cheeky, cheeky.
How do you get 38 models and still have 2 trolls in the list?
2 trolls and a caster. Yeah. That's tight.
I think you just fudge your numbers when you submit the list. It's quite good. I did that.
Sam, I guess he's gone for orcs instead of the Morannons.
He's gone orcs, and a lot of them have got only half equipped as well. It's not like it's shield, spear, Morannons everywhere. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, no.
Saved a lot of money there.
Which, when you're bringing a second troll, is quite nice.
Quite nice to save that money.
And the Mouth of Sauron's not actually not too shabby in combat if pushed into there as well, which is decent.
5, 3 on the charge.
Yeah.
5 on a horse. I mean, yeah, you can't say no to that. He can kill a couple of troops a turn, no problem.
For captain.
Bonus is something scary. Yeah.
Yep. And we know the Troll Chieftain is a terrifying creature.
Yep.
I'm always
the beefy chiefy.
Beefy chiefy. I'm always suspicious of trolls that aren't Troll Chieftains.
Yeah.
But with a mouth to help lock things down, and so many friends in such huge numbers. You know?
Less worried.
Exactly right. Somehow you've managed not to pay.
It's exactly that thing of, oh cool, you killed 1 troll. Here's my other troll.
Yes, here's my superior troll.
Yeah.
Beat you around the head with your own arm.
Yeah, I believe it's a phrase for that when you mess with trolling people.
Yeah, that's the one. Nice.
Trolling.
Nice.
Huge. That's great chat. Yeah, I think I was suspicious when I first saw the orcs rather than the Morannons as the sort of standard troops. But I think, the fact that you can get so many of them and still afford to get that second troll, I think is quite a nice we twist on what you'd normally expect. And of course, you've still got plenty of Morannons if you want to, come up against something that has the right defense. D6.
Yep. What's the army, the legion bonus other than your beefy chiefy? Is there something to do with orcs outnumbering or something?
I think it must have that, isn't it?
Water one?
Do you want to look it up and tell us?
Is it Quest of the Ring Bearer? Or is it the other one?
No, it's in the Gondor at War. I've got it here. Found it here. Here it is.
Gondor at War.
Yeah, it is +1 when in a duel when they outnumber their opponent in the fight. There you go. So it's not the map wide outnumber, it's the +1 to wound.
I guess in that occasion it makes
delightful.
sense.
In that situation,
Yeah.
it does. Yep.
Even better than shrink, really.
Definitely does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite
Um,
nice. Maybe the only mistake was bringing those Mariners in that second warband, in that third warband. Terrible.
Yeah,
Take
rookie,
those away.
rookie. Well, they've got a
Interesting.
Moranan captain, so they have to leave the Moranans. It's just
I
that's
guess
how it is.
That's true.
We
That's
don't make
true.
the rules. Jay Clare makes the rules.
Jake makes the rules. That's gonna be cool. It's gonna do some serious chop.
Nice and tidy.
Nice and tidy. Next up, we have, speaking of nice and tidy,
Speaking of tidy,
Connor, can you read this one out while I audibly sigh?
Oh,
prepare to hear me say goblin a lot. So we got Goblin Town with
One.
the Goblin King,
so
22 goblins, and
Three.
Golem. Then we got Grinner, the Goblin, with 18 goblins. Then we got the
What?
Goblin Scribe Goblin with 12 goblins. And then we've got the Goblin Captain Goblin with 18 goblins, and a Goblin Mercenary Captain Goblin with 6 Goblin Mercenary Goblins. For 82 goblins, 11 Mighty Goblins, and 1 Monster Goblin.
It's 18 for those keeping track at home, which is an incredible bit of goblin was done just then. That's
which
marvelous.
still isn't what, a fifth of the army that you're saying?
Yeah,
Barely.
that's not even close to quartered. Don't even think about it.
82 models, folks.
Look, if
That's
you
81
get
goblins and
there
1 hobbit.
painted 82 goblins, you go ahead. You run this. You have fun. More
Very
power to
loose
you.
definition of hobbit there, Sam.
That's what the book says. I don't make the rules. That's what the book
I
says.
guess technically, yes. Yeah.
That's what the book says. I was as shocked as you are. I mean, I have played against this person's goblins before, and I think they ended up, thanks to the Goblin Scribe, with more goblins on the board at the end of the game than they did at the start. It was very early in my career, and it was one of the most unpleasant lottery experiences I've ever had. And
Yeah.
I still to this day wake up in a cold sweat occasionally thinking about the Goblin Scribe passing yet another courage test on double sixes. So
I do really like the idea of your movement phase just being you put like a ruler down at the
Yeah.
5-inch mark, and then you just get a broom and push them up to that line,
Yeah.
and then you go, your turn.
there's no more thought than that. Or
You know, with
alternatively,
Exactly. Just
Then
tip
it's
the
sort of the
table up a
Simpsons
little bit and
where
shake them
they-
down.
The episode of The Simpsons where water balloon Nelson and his goons, and like they're sitting there and they're got them all on a board and they're pushing them around with the rakes and whatnot. It's just- is this individual traveling to Wellington with 82?
this individual is traveling to Wellington with 82 goblins, yes. I believe they
Just in
bought
a
us an extra
bucket.
ticket for their enormous box of goblins to sit on a seat next to them.
I think you
Yeah.
just keep them in a
You-
bucket,
you just
like
keep
an
it
ice cream container, or
in your
or three.
pockets. This is you
Yeah.
going through security, just
I got
pulling
goblins.
out handfuls of goblins. Because like
That's where
it's
the
just
scribe
trash,
one
isn't
comes out of. Take off your shoe and shake it out. Put more in there.
where's the Goblin
It's a good
King?
thing they're
Oh,
not
I won't tell
metal.
you.
Otherwise, you'd never be able to fly with them.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say about this really. This is
Yeah.
this is a bad joke.
It does
This
what
is
it
a
does,
nightmare.
doesn't it?
It does what it
How
does.
long are the rounds? Just asking for a friend.
This will be a 2-turn game, I think, won't it? If you start winning turn 1 and then just one at a time, measuring it all out.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I think this player is going like before the game starts. This is my Goblin captain, and they're just putting him somewhere in there and being like, "See you in the
Good luck. I think
He's there.
last time I played this player, they had also had 4 different colored bases on for their models to be like, this one has a pick, this one has a flail, this one has a dagger, and just based on the color of the
You gotta
base
know. You gotta
of
know.
the model. It was for someone who was only just starting, it was impossible. I had no clue what was going on.
He's hitting that D3 sweet spot as far as efficiency goes.
You are.
Truly.
You are. It makes a difference.
The person who brought the chariot is just going to have such a lovely time against this. It's just going to be tiptoeing through the
I
tulips.
don't think they will, because at some point your wheels are going to get so full of goblins that you're going to have to stop and pull over and kind of get a rake and push them all out and start again. Like,
I mean, as you said, Connor, you still need 4s to wound. It's just 2 dice, then you need 4s.
Yep.
Very true.
How often do you fuck that?
Very true.
Exactly.
Very
all
true.
the time.
25% chance to
higher than a 3.
mess it up every time. Very true. Well, all I can say is best of luck to this absolute sicko.
I hope they sing the song. Oh no.
Oh no, that's right. That's right, folks. We have Goblin Town allied with the Dark Denizens of Mirkwood as our next list. 2 Goblin Town lists in a 16-person tournament. This is the Goblin King with 12 goblins, Grinner with 12 goblins, and the Goblin Captain with 12 goblins. That's it for goblins. Then we have the Spider Queen leading 5 giant spiders, 3 Mirkwood spiders, and 3 Felwargs. That's it. 51 models, 2 monsters.
51 models.
So you've got all the goblins you could want, really, as well as many spiders and the Spider Queen.
Realistically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
Is there going to be space for the spiders just to like exist, or is it just all going to be goblin in the deployment zone? That's the real concern.
Channels through.
End up with a 12-inch deployment, and you're like, I can't fit my goblins. I can't fit my spiders. Other than that, like, I think you're happy.
I just think you're happy playing this all the time. It looks like such incredible fun.
Yeah.
Especially when you fog, and so you can just let your Goblin King just do things and not care on the rare occasion that it is going to take a wound.
Yeah. This is the squishiest anvil I've ever seen, I will say.
Not an anvil, is it? It's more of a cushion.
Yeah. Well, it's the Goblin King's cushion, literally.
He's got the cushion. That's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, what more do you want? Which one's the which spiders are which, Jenny? I don't know. You'll know. One of you will know.
Giant spiders are the ones that are not giant.
Right. Okay.
Giant spiders are 40 mil bases, and Mirkwood spiders are the 60 mil.
Right. Okay.
Mirkwood ones are the paralyzing ones.
Right.
Yeah. So you got 3 of the paralyzed ones and 5 of the just fight 4.
And can the spiders climb over the goblins?
No, I don't
They
think
move?
so.
No. That's. I mean, that's going to be problematic, isn't it? Getting crowded out by their own meat.
Well, you send the Goblin King in first to clear a path, and then
the chariot,
the Spider Queen goes in.
Yeah.
Not big enough for your medium-sized Mirkwood spiders, though. Yeah, the chariots have to clean out the path.
Another nasty one to play in Reconnoiter.
Yes.
They're gonna get those spiders and wargs past you, and then what are you gonna do? Try get through 30-something, 36 odd goblins in a line? No.
Again, it's just really fun because you're versing this, and no matter what happens, both of you are taking models off the table.
You get to kill stuff.
People are dying.
That's good. You get to kill stuff, and there's no awful goblin scribe bringing things back on again. So big shout out to this person for just a hint of mercy they've shown.
Yeah.
On the other hand, goblins love killing paralyzed models, so you get like 12 wounds.
Good luck. Right. Next up, we have a serious nerd list. Connor, what's this nerd list?
Archetypal nerd list of Seventh Horde and Mordor. It's got the nerdiest nerd of all, Suladan, with an armored horse. He's got his token 9 Haradrim plus bows. He's got the 4 Serpent Riders. Interesting choice. I would have gone 3 personally. He's got 3 Serpent Guard and 2 Abrogans. And then we've got the Shadow Lord on horse, a secondary nerd choice with 6 Black Numenorians, 4 Morannons with shield and spear. And then finally, the little nerd with the nerd skull on top, Gurits with 6 Black Numenorians and 4 Morannons with shield and spear for 41 nerd models, 6 cav, some bows, and 1 magic.
Sorry, 9 bows. My poor PowerPointing. Also, most of those Haradrim should have spears as well.
Yes, yep. Yeah, when I heard this list had 9 bows, I immediately knew it was a Suladan warband.
Just nerdistry.
Whose list
is this? Do we know whose list this is?
Who could it
be?
What
a horrifically bad list for this tournament, can I just say?
I agree.
Game of Fog, why would you bring Squishy Shadow Lord and Squishy Gurts? That's just stupid. This person's obviously trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
As opposed to Indestructible Suladan, famously tanky.
This is my list. I'll confess that. I know. Yeah. I want. Okay, the way that I play is ultra conservative, right? So I like the idea that Sullivan, who apparently has some combat prowess, can now be used for at least 2 of the 5 scenarios to maybe kill something. Because I don't think my
Ooh.
Sullivan has ever actually killed anything before. It sits there behind a row of bodies and is a 115-point banner.
I mean, look, that's not great efficiency. I'm not going to lie,
No.
Jenny.
It's not. So
No.
it took a tournament where there was 2 rounds of fog for me to think maybe, I say maybe, we'll see what happens. I
No,
might throw
you
Sullivan,
won't. You won't.
I might kill something.
Nah, that's not getting ridiculous.
Just
Yeah.
like optimistic, I think. I mean, this really is
But-
just the nerdiest nerd list. You got the Shadow Lord, you got Guritz, and you got Soladan. That's 3 massively nerd
Yep.
heroes. You've clearly nerd
Yep.
power gamed your nerd Harrowed Warband to the nerdiest nth degree. And
Yep.
you've agonized over how many Serpent Riders versus Serpent Guard versus Abracans and done all the maths
Yep.
and had it all up on a little pin board with little strings between the pins. And then I think at that point, Black Numenorians and Marinans just sort of sort themselves out. There's your Terra front line, fight 4.
They do what they do,
defense.
don't they? Yep.
They do what they do.
Shadow Lord for that anti-range.
Yep.
9 bows to be a prick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Neg
Imagine.
1 courage with the Shadow Lord.
Of
Yep,
course.
that
How can
too.
we forget it?
It's like
And,
it all synergizes, Denny.
I know it's and do you know what I hate? I hate when you're playing a game and you have to remember what's rerolling and what's not. So it's kind of like if I take Mordor with the rerolling 1's bonus and a Green Alliance with Harad who have poison spears, I just need to remember that if I fluff up and roll a 1, I can reroll that.
Look at that. Easy. Any one. Any and all
Wow.
ones. Any and all ones anywhere in the game. Reroll them.
Beautiful.
Did you think about that while you were shoved in a locker at school, or what was the deal with that?
Joke's on you. It wasn't at school. It was last week.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a strong
That's
list.
what it does, doesn't it?
I won't lie
Yep.
to you, it does not fill me with joy and excitement just because it is.
No.
It's nothing new, is it?
No,
I've
no.
played
tried this-
my
this,
list into this list before, and it was over in 45 minutes. It was horrific.
Oh yeah, this is a butcher of a list, but it is not.
Yeah.
You know, it's not all mounted Angmar. You know.
I don't think it's power game too much with fog. Like, give
Or
it some
you
shit.
wouldn't.
Play some Shadow Lord, like, you can take those down.
That's totally true. That's totally true.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Not that much strength 4 in the list. It is
No,
reliant
8
on 3.
and some
So-
Africans.
True. 8 Marinans, Abracans, +1s on the Super Riders.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
You are choosing your engagements a lot with the Harbinger and the Terror. Like, that's
Yeah.
excellent. And you've actually, with the D6, you're not that bothered about bodyguard either, because
Yeah.
you
So
know,
there's not a lot of Fury or Bodyguard that I've actually seen this time.
No,
no.
it's very true.
So for those that are causing terror, like the Army of the Dead, and I think there was a couple of other Black Num front lines, Mortal
Angmar as well. Yep.
and Angmar, like it's going to be
More
A lot
terror
of
than,
terror.
than high courage.
Yeah, a game of courage test. Like this going up against 82 goblins, that should be fun.
It's going to be slow. It's going to be very slow running.
Very
It's gonna be
rolling courage
very
test.
I have to
slow
start
running.
rolling my courage test for my opponent.
Just start saying, just move 1/4 of your goblins at me. I'm like, just ignore the second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've mapped
3/4.
it out.
Yeah, on average.
Classic
Yeah,
nerd list.
that's the only
Classic
way to
nerd
do it.
list. Right
Classic
there.
nerd list. Oh, very good, very good, very good. Alrightio. What is next, Amundo? All right, and here we are. Thank you, hands. Go team, nice work. Next list here we have is the Survivors of Lake Town. So, speaking of nerd lists,
Don't call me a nerd and then put this up.
yeah, I know, right? Nerd lists. All right, so this is Bard the Bowman leading with a horse and some armor. He's leading 7 militia with shield, 7 militia with spears, and Alfred is with him as well.
Boring.
Dear. You know what we're going to get for the rest of this. Gandalf and a horse, 13 militia with a bow, yawn. Hilda Bianca with 3 militia with shields and 3 militia with spear, and a militia captain with a shield, with 2 militia with shield and 2 militia with spear. That's 42 models, 9 might, 14 bows, 2 cav, 1 caster, and 0 fun.
The poor person who wrote this list, who isn't Denny, is probably got hurt feelings right now.
I'm
You
okay
wouldn't
with
think
It's
that.
coming, but I don't know who did this.
You wouldn't think it to look at this person, but they are a massive nerd as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's got it's got the Alfred Gandalf nonsense. That's a secret special sauce.
Secret sauce. Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
That's bound to go off. Sam, do you want to talk about the time that we played?
Famously, Denny and I played this once. And he, for his first turn, of course, he does his Alfred on Bard the Bowman and rolls triple ones, big triple ones. And so you have a 0 might Bard and a 3 might Alfred for the course of the game. A game in which Jenny also gets his spells wrong and doesn't realize Gandalf has strength and will to be cast upon Alfred. And the entire game is spent with a 0 might Bard. And we all had a lovely time.
Because it's against Vanquishers, and all of my heroes were dead by turn 2.
No, hey, Gandalf and Bard stayed behind the house the entire game.
The
entire game behind the house while I killed literally everything else. That was fun. We had a good time. Anyway, this list here is
a lot of models.
It's a lot of models. It's a lot of trash models, though, it must be said.
Yeah.
It's effectively
Quite
Goblin Town.
trash. Yeah.
Well, it's not far from it.
No. They have a defense value, which is a bonus.
Defense value. They have more than yours, army, and more than the Goblin Town, but only just.
Where the heck is Hilda? What does Hilda do? Does anyone know what Hilda does?
She gives +1 to wound around her within 3 inches when she charges, and otherwise that's about it. She got a spear.
Wow. That's not bad, though.
Might 2, strength 3, hitting that sweet spot of D3, 1 attack, 2 wounds, courage 5, 1/1 for the might, will, and fate. And then +1 to wound if they charged. That's niche.
That's niche.
We call that a great fog target, I think.
I think we really do.
Pretty interesting call. This is the player I think it is who's gone for old Hilda, unless this is a elaborate troll.
I do like the +1s to wound though, because I mean these guys aren't killing anything normally.
There's precisely one turn in which Hilda Bianca's charging though.
Yep.
Probably less than that actually against half these tier lists. Yeah, I mean I always think of Lake Town as being like a list that is great to bring numbers into like a Thranduil type alliance with a high fight value and high defense value, or useful to bring in numbers to a list that has also got a really, 1 or 2 really hard hitting heroes that can do a lot of damage while you have big numbers to clog up. And
walls on goats and stuff,
yeah. And I don't see either of those things happening here. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, like Gandhi's for Fog, Gandhi's someone that you're definitely gonna keep alive. Like he's not going down.
Yep.
And you've probably got numbers to take a piece of terrain, but
definitely. Yeah. And you got the march on the captain as well.
Kind of auto conceding 3 VPs, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Interesting to see how it goes.
On the other hand, I think you've got a reasonable job of killing your target with Gandalf and Bard there.
Yeah, although
Bard's all right.
He's all right. He's still strength 4.
Does he come with his bow?
Yeah, great bow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So that's neat. And Gandalf to compel or just sorcerer's blast or. You got some tools there to do work with and bodies to protect them. Gandalf should never be getting charged in this list ever. That's
true. I feel like I feel like there are tools and bodies, but maybe it's not the tools that I would have wanted.
Yeah. Sorry, this is absolutely left field, and it goes back what just Sam was saying. Say Alfred does take all 3 might from Bard, and you go strength and will on Alfred. Can Alfred still give counsel, noting that he can never actually take away a point of might from Bard? Anyway, not a question we need to answer.
I assume so.
Okay.
I don't see why
just
not.
Keep funneling it back in, yeah.
So there wouldn't be any neg. You can't go -1 might. You just
He's like the worst gambling.
Yeah.
Worst gambling.
I like it. I'm keen to see it get immediately run over by 3 chariots.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's
interesting. The militia, because again, normally you take the army of Lake Town, isn't it? If you want to just biff numbers into something.
Yeah.
With the master and Alfred, and that's like 300 points for 50 models or something obscene like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm just biased against Bard, but I just don't think of him as being like a Wow, terrifying hero.
Yeah.
He is one of those, like, he's got all the threes in places, doesn't he? He's
Yeah.
got the 3
He
wounds,
does.
3 attacks, 3 fate.
Not
Not
much.
the highest
Not much
defense,
defense.
but
Not much.
yeah.
Not particularly hard hitting, really.
I think he just
Just-
flies a bit under the radar because of other models like your Thorns and your Danes, and
Yeah, just no
there's
plus
other
one.
big ones from that era that he kind of ends up a little bit undershadowed, and he's more of a buff bot than
Yeah,
anything
the
else.
buffs are good. The buffs are good.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Courage 6, probably going down to Courage 5 in a lot of these games because there's a lot of Neg 1 Harbingers. So,
Yep.
it's,
It'll be interesting.
yeah.
It'll be interesting. Cool. Next up is our second to last list.
What
This
a
is
nerd. What a
the
nerd.
Riders of Theoden, a nerd list. Denny, tell us what this list is. Walk us through it.
This is my list from Southcon 2021 and Georgia's winning list from Southcon 2022. And I went for the T-Spear on AML. Oh, wait, of course. So,
Completely
this
different.
so just wait, what year is it? Okay, this is the Riders of Theoden Legendary Legion. This may be the first Legendary Legion we've seen.
Blackgate, Return of the King.
Okay, yeah, Blackgate, Return of the King. Okay, but not that many actually. For
No, it's true. Not that many.
what we said was going to be quite a
Lance of Scouts was literally the first list.
It's a Scouts. True.
Oh, second list. Eat your words, Denny.
Anyway, what's this list? What's this
all
list?
right, all right, so we've got Theoden with an armored horse, heavy armor and shield, and he's taking 2 royal guards with horse and T-Spear. Then we've got Aomer with horse and shield. Oh, no armored horse. Interesting call, George. He's taking 2 royal guards just with horse. Then we've got Durnhelm, who's taking 2 royal guards with horse and T-Spear. Daewine with a horse, 2 royal guards on horse with T-Spear. Gameling with the horse and the banner. And then he's just taking the 1 royal guard with the horse and T-Spear for 14 models, 15 Asterix Might, 14 Cav, and what, about 9-ish throwing weapons or something?
Must be 8, I think. Yeah.
8. No, it's nice and
No, 10.
tidy.
No?
And it's
8. Sorry. I mean, it's Riders of Theoden.
It is. It is with
That's
a couple
what it says
of
on the tin.
texts, which I'll talk to George about afterwards because they're boring for the average viewer. As we sit around, why do you not go for an armored horse on a hammer? Why did you not go for throwing spears?
Can you go for an armored horse on the Emmy? He just comes as he is, I think, in the Legion.
He has the option to boost up because I think in Pelennor
Does
he's got
he?
the armored, and
Pretty
on
sure.
Helm's Deep he does not.
If I'm looking
Yeah,
at it
that's
right
right.
now. It's no, it is armored horse. Sorry, he just comes with the armored horse. I've just written it down wrong. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I just sounded way too nerdy for no reason.
No.
On this podcast,
Huge.
No.
Yeah, I mean, what are the choices that have been made here? In all seriousness,
Yeah.
Denny,
it is interesting
Connor,
because this is.
point me to the choices.
I guess there's no throwing spears on Durnhelm.
True,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
right.
choice.
Normally a reasonable spot to place them because Durnhelm's might isn't as important.
This is a matter of
and
someone
maybe
forgetting you can put
there's another
throwing spears on
throwing
Durnhelm.
spear. Yeah, you might be able to sneak another model in if you drop throwing spears on a couple of things, but I think the throwing spears are always worth it. With a list like this, you just need to be putting out as much damage in as few turns as possible.
I think if you dropped, AMS throwing spear and 5 other throwing spears, you can get 1 more Royal Garden.
Yeah, don't know if that's worth it.
That's a lot of throwing
really.
spears. Yeah, you'll be almost none
I'm
left.
just looking at the profile for AMA. You can either take him with a horse or armored horse. So I don't know.
Yeah,
what
but in the Legion, it specifies armored horse. Like you buy them with armored horse and shield, mandatory.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
mean, what?
Oh, it's kind of right.
But it's a cool list. Very cool list. You know what it does? For fog, it's interesting because I thought
I don't think any of these are good
Spade would go
choices.
I thought Spade would go for who's the guy that Elfhelm? Just as that cheeky heroic defense. I thought that would be kind of a cool little niche play rather than going for the predictable AMN.
He's quite good as well with his throwing spear rules for being
Yeah.
able to take out a specific target.
Yeah.
But day one,
Interesting.
the free combats are good as well.
True. You need it
I
on
think
my
that
list.
Daowine's basically your tech pick of do you want
Mhm.
Daowine or do you want
Elfhelm.
Elfhelm, basically.
Yeah.
You got the obvious synergies in there with spending Mary's might to boost gambling straight away and
Yeah.
chop chop
I
chop.
mean, really, it's just going to be, in my experience, beating a Riders of Theoden list comes down to that second heroic move off. So usually they're out of range for the first couple of turns. They lose priority, then they just boom, engage, full death, take out your front row, and then your spear supports, and then the next turn just comes down to
Your
whatever's
banner's
next.
sitting there looking
They're
really
calling a
nervous.
move, you're calling a move. Whoever wins that roll off, you're hoping it's you, because if it's not
Yep.
you, you're gone.
Yep.
If it's you,
Go have
you
lunch.
might have a chance of taking a few VPs somewhere.
Fills you
Very
with
fun.
inspiration, doesn't it? Oh, so much fun.
Hope you get lucky with bow shots, basically,
Yeah.
is the other thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's chariots, really.
Chariots. I mean, there's a lot of hurls as well. There's a lot of hurling. A lot of hurling. A lot of
True.
flying hurling.
Yeah. I played a Riders of Theoden into that double fell beast list and did not have a good time. We're just you're constantly stressing about hurls coming from two different vectors and compels
true
and
that.
all sorts of nasty stuff. It's you want to go in, but as soon as you're in, the fell beasts are like, I don't really care about my troops.
Actually, when you think about between
Yeah,
in terms of
Gulliver and
monsters, between Gulliver and
a
Wraiths
lot.
and Goblin Kings and Spider Queens and even
Mm.
Trolls left, right, and centre, most lists we've seen so far have a way of going whoop and chucking somebody through 3 or 4 horses. Don't they?
And if they don't, they've got a Sorceress Blast in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sorcerer's Blast, true.
It's interesting. No, it's a cool list. I thought maybe the player would
Hugely.
go for his Theodred Guard list at 650. But maybe
I think he might have had a traumatic experience with that and chariots. So
Yeah, because this will go much better against chariots.
yeah.
All right. Last list we have is the last list we
Beautiful.
have. Connor, finish us off.
Nice. That's the last alliance with Elendil on horse with shield, 9 regular Numenorians with shield, 5 with shield and spear, and 1 with shield, spear, and the banner. And then you got the big boy himself, Gilgalad, with a horse and shield, 6 fight 6 Kingsguard with spear, and 3 elves with elf bows for 26 models, 6 and some free hero combats of might, and 3 bows, 2 cav. And those 2 cav are supremely hard hitting.
Serious cav.
What a perfect little TO list.
Yeah, pivotal tier list. This is what I'm bringing.
Is it Power Gaming having Elendil as your fog of war target for 2 games? I don't know. TO, was this your plan?
I thought this was supposed to be fun to play against.
Oh, fun to play with. For me, 26 models. Oh, this is one of the smallest lists anyone's bringing. Yeah, I mean, I want to play Last Lance. I haven't played with Last Lance before, despite having all the models, heaps of models for it. I've never used my Elendil Google at a tournament. I wanted to bring it. And yeah, as we say, I'm TO. I'm just going to hope playing some chill games against some chill people. And it seems like a fun list to get stuck in a corner with.
Yep.
Here for a fun time, not a good time.
Exactly. Yeah, something like that. And Kingsguards.
Yeah.
What's not to love?
Yeah.
Fight 6.
So good.
In case I come up against any cheeky Riders of Theoden lists.
Boom.
Get back
on the bottom tables where they belong.
Yeah, no doubt. Maybe game 1. Cool. That's it.
Just love seeing Gilgalad and Elendil run around, don't you? It's just
been fun. I mean, free heroic combats,
thematic.
blood and glory.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just got 2 models in the army. The rest of them are just there to fill in space. These 2 dudes going wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Do all the work. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that's everything. That's all I've got. That's it. That's the whole tournament. There is still 1 list outstanding. But that is the whole 15 of the 16 that have been submitted. So
fantastic.
I think it looks like a mostly reasonably serious set of people coming along to bring in some reasonably serious stuff and having, apart from Denny, some cool, interesting ideas going on, doing some different stuff, doing something exciting and new. which we'll have fun
Riders
playing.
of Theoden.
Like Rise of Theoden, which is exciting. And it's exciting. It's not new, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
No one can say it's not exciting.
Oh, and there's got a throwing spear. It's very exciting.
Hugely exciting. Controversial. Right. Any final thoughts from you two? Any last reckons on what we've seen here today?
Just what I was saying, how it's interesting. It seems to be majority green alliances rather than any kind of legendary legion or yellow red alliance, which is probably says a lot about the New Zealand community, right?
Yep.
We respect the game.
Yeah.
And to be fair, not that many alliances full stop, really.
No,
actually.
We say
there's not a single Boromir of Gondor.
No, that's true. That's true.
The classic splash.
Despite temptations.
And a lot of monsters this time around, which I think everyone's kind of
everyone
seems to have gone, I've had enough of playing big heroes. I want to pull out my monsters and beat people up in 2023.
A lot more spellcasters as well than what we usually see.
A lot of casting, a lot of monsters.
People might be getting a little bit bored, I know I am, of the classic shield wall plays. So just having something else that you can do during your turn.
Sorry, did you say you're getting bored of the classic shield wall plays?
Yeah.
You saw your list though, right?
With his Numenorians and Mirandans shield wall. Yeah.
Hey, this Sullivan, he'll do something different.
Hang on.
No,
I think part of that is the East, like I think the not necessarily real, but the perceived Eastling threat of why would I put my fight 4 shield wall into a fight 5 shield wall and lose against a pike block?
Yeah.
So I think people are kind of, even though there's not actually a huge amount of Eastlings out there, people are kind of taking that into account and going, okay, so what am I going to do that's different and mix it up?
Fight 5 is becoming the new fight 4A, and so I guess there's less of a your standard fight 4 shield wall is no longer. Yeah.
And they hate casters throwing sorcerer's blast and stuff through them. So I think people have kind of teched a bit to take that, and it's made for a lot more dynamic lists than you would normally see of just. I mean, there's no dwarves, not a dwarf in sight. Well, there's Gimli.
There's Gimli. A single lone Gimli, yeah.
But yeah, a single lone Gimli. But there's certainly no kind of Khazad line of dwarves or even the Gondor list that we saw isn't just a pile of warriors of Minas Tirith and Thousand Court kind of smashing faces. So
yeah,
good to see.
Yeah, I feel like every other list review you're watching overseas just has Gondor, Assault on Lothlorien, Dragon Emperor.
Yep.
And the bears. No bears in this either. It's just a whole bunch of cool alliances with a couple of legendary legends splashed in.
Very nice. A healthy little meta you've developed here, Sam.
Beautiful.
Well, I try.
Any last thoughts from you, Sam? Your first tournament?
Please be kind to me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making it up as I go.
I'll offer
and
it. That's all you have to do.
No. I'm open to being paid under or over the table for TO rulings. So just get
all proceeds as a charity.
Speaking of being paid, it's a charity event. Did you want to mention the $10 rerolls?
Yes, of course, that's very true. Yeah, for $10 to the overall organizer, the overall charity event, you can buy a little reroll token. You can use reroll dice, even rerolled rerolls. So if you like rerolling, you can reroll rerolls while you reroll your rerolls. So come on down, throw some money at the game, and just pay to win. Pay me for rulings, pay the organizer for rerolls. I mean, it's full corrupt. It's all for a good cause.
Why pay Forge to win when you can pay Sam?
Exactly.
So much easier.
Well, thank you both very much for joining me this evening for a very pleasurable experience. I had a lovely time. I hope you both had a lovely time as well.
I did. Thank you.
Good. Thank you all out there in computer land for joining us as well. And I guess may the Lord bless you and keep you. See you at FOG.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you. Fingers, yes, fingers. Bonus round.
Bonus round.
Those who just watched the video might have recalled that I cruelly besmirched the good name of a member of our community by suggesting they hadn't submitted their list. As I ended the recording, I looked at my phone where they informed me that they had in fact submitted the list 10 days ago. and that I was a fool
What
for
a
not
TO.
noticing.
What a TO.
And look, I can't argue with this. I apologize
Yep,
for besmirching the good name of the name who I besmirched. I have received your list. Thank you for providing it to me. It is here before us on the screen. And for the sake of completeness, we're going to look at it and review it.
I mean, the good thing is this is anonymous, so no one will be able to know who the person was.
I was just going to say that nobody
Yeah.
in the New Zealand community will have any clue who this player is, just based on what's on the
And
screen here.
if they don't know, they can find out on the day
They'll
by
find
finding
out on
out
the
who
day.
has this list.
Total anonymity. Total anonymity. This person. So without further ado, this person, to those listening at home, no idea who this is, has brought Denethor, the 15 Fountain Court guard, with shield. Then Boromir, with a banner, his special banner, a shield and a horse, and leading one Knight of Minas Tirith with a shield. Then Madril, leading 2 rangers with spear and then 1 single ranger, spearless. Then 2 bolt throwers, both of which have swift reload. 28 models, 11 might, 2 cavalry, and 4 bows plus 2 bolt throwers.
Pew pew.
Bang bang.
Nice. Cool. No, it's good. I like the thought given to the list in a tournament where you got double fog. Makes sense to, I don't know, have Denethor as your leader, so then you can protect Bozza.
Yep.
Which seems cool. A lot of Maelstrom and Reconnoiter there, so good to see Madril. The double bolt throwers is just going to be an absolute hail to get through, which is just, I don't know. There's a few blinding light casters at this tournament, which is
Yeah, a couple.
interesting.
Are a few.
For 650 point. Yeah.
And a
So
Pool
that'll
of
be-
Darkness caster too, famously.
Yeah. Exactly. So that will be interesting. I think these are the first siege weapons we've also seen.
The only ones, yep.
A lot of bodyguard though, which will come in handy.
Yeah, we just said we saw no bodyguard or fury. So there you
Very
go.
true. Very true.
And the way bodyguard's worded, does it just have to go to? Does it have to be Denethor or can it be Bozza?
It can be Boromir. It has to be
Yeah.
a hero of your highest tier. Yeah.
Cool.
So Boromir is, for all intents and purposes, the leader of this army, really.
Yeah. Cool. You got the one little
Right.
cav dude there to take an objective late game. Little lance.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
how
is
inept do you feel being one of
a lot
those
of bolt
rangers?
What's that?
Man, how inept would you feel being one of those rangers, like rocking up to the battlefield, looking to your right and seeing 2 massive bolt throwers? And
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is wasting their time, those fellas, aren't they? They've been completely done by the bolt
And
throwers.
they look to their left and they see 15 defense 7 models and go, I'll go home.
It's not a list that's going to go particularly well on Reconnoiter, I wouldn't have thought.
Not particularly. It's a list that will do
It
well.
protects its
against-
edge very well.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, a 12-inch stretch of it anyway.
Yep.
You can
That's
goose
the bolt
guard a
throws,
bit.
baby.
I mean, I want to see this come up against the old Rohan and Reconnoiter. I think that'd be fun to watch.
It's basically, will
was
your
bolt
horses make it to the other side of the board? Animal cruelty is, I think, what that is. Fish in a barrel.
But yeah, there are plenty of people, even you with your blinding light and elven cloaks, are going to be looking at this, probably feeling not too bad about the whole thing, really.
And again,
Yeah.
what's that? Strength 6 or 7 or whatever bolt throws, defense 3, who cares?
Who
Three's either way,
cares?
baby.
Literally. Who cares? Cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
Nice.
Well, hey, look,
Now it feels well rounded and completed, doesn't it? The
it
list
does.
review.
There was something missing. There was something missing.
It was.
There was
Yeah, I
something
think I
missing.
just said we hadn't seen any Minas Tirith or Gondor list.
There's only
yeah,
one other one.
I think
With
with Gandhi.
I think we swallowed our words quite successfully there, because here is a shield wall.
here is exactly right. This is
Very
the
much a
this is
shield
the opposite. Extreme. Very much a shield wall. Yes, Fountain Courts. God bless them.
Mhm.
Well, best of luck to this player and also the opponents facing down the bolt throwers.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Thank you for reminding me that your list was here. And thank you both for coming back on at short notice and giving this the old once over. And thank you,
I
viewer.
can't move. So it's okay.
And thank you, viewer, for sticking around for the post-credits scene like some terrible MCU movie. So we're very grateful for you to stick with us. Say bye,
Yeah.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye. Keep waving while I find the button.
Sorry.
Bye.